full compliance with international law, including UN Charter. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Lithuania for the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of Poland.
Mr. President, let me thank Sierra Leone for convening this meeting and our briefers for their updates and informative briefings. Mr. President, the permanent member of this Council, the Russian Federation, persists in making the travesty of its presumed role as a guardian of international peace and security. More than 1,300 days into a full-scale invasion of its peaceful neighbor, Moscow has now launched one of its fiercest offensives in months. We are witnessing heavy strikes in frontline locations, attacks on residential areas, destruction of critical infrastructure, torture and killing of detainees, and continuous deportation of Ukrainian children. As we all heard today in the interventions, yesterday at least 25 people were killed, including 3 children, in the missile drone attack on the city of Ternopil. Russia carried out this attack against the civilian apartment blocks. They directed missiles and drones into the people's homes. Mr. President, 2 months ago, the Council met at the request of my country, following Russia's violation of the Polish airspace with its drones. Now we are facing another major escalation, of which I would like this Council to be rightly informed against the Russian disinformation. On November 15 to 16, 2 acts of diversion targeting Polish railway infrastructure occurred, including the blowing up of a section of the track on the Warsaw-Lublin route, which is crucially important for the delivery of the aid, including the United Nations assistance, to Ukraine. According to the investigation, these were intentional actions aimed at causing a railway disaster. Many people's lives were put at risk. These were the most serious acts of sabotage against Poland since the beginning of Russia's full-scale aggression against Ukraine. Fortunately, a tragedy was averted, but another line was crossed. These actions are evidence of how Russia is spreading its aggression into other countries in the region. 2 saboteurs were promptly identified as, of course, individuals bearing the Ukrainian passports, but one of them was sentenced already in May 2025 by Ukrainian court of an act of sabotage committed on behalf of the Russian security services. The other one was of Donbas origin. Both fled from Ukraine to Belarus, where they were also went after committing the sabotage operation in Poland. As predicted, the incidents are being followed by the Russian propaganda and disinformation, conduct we witnessed all too often in this chamber also today. Russian media are attempting to portray the sabotage as a Ukrainian provocation. We are closely monitoring the information sphere and Russia's attempts to inflict the damage there, as well as to sow divisions within our own society. Mr. President, all this is happening in defiance of diplomatic initiatives, especially those led by the United States and President Trump, and despite the will of the international community repeatedly expressed here at the UN. Russia has consistently chosen war over peace, destruction over building, and death over life. For self-interest elites in the Kremlin, the massive loss of life, even among Russian soldiers, and the deepening economic crisis at home are of no importance. Moscow shows no interest in halting its unprovoked aggression against Ukraine and even rejects a ceasefire. We will, however, continue to support a just peace in Ukraine, one that is acceptable and supported by Ukraine as a victim of aggression, and in accordance with the principles of international law. We must hold Russia accountable for its actions and deter future wars in our region and beyond. Mr. President, Ukraine's reconstruction will remain our high priority. Poland will host the Ukraine Recovery Conference in 2026, aiming to strengthen the coordination of reconstruction efforts and mobilize the support of all international partners in order to accelerate Ukraine's recovery and modernization. Poland will also continue to support the provision of military assistance to Ukraine, as well as economic sanctions against Russia in order to curb its ability to fuel the war. We call on all peace-loving countries to join in those efforts. Russian authorities must be forced into talks by stronger sanctions and by increasing economic cost of war. The alternative is very grim. The Kremlin's imperialist, neo-colonial demands would in fact deprive Ukraine of its own sovereignty and will re-establish the spheres of influence. We reject the very idea of such spheres of influence. We cannot allow the aggressor to intimidate the international community. And in this conflict, there is only one and sole aggressor, and that's the Russian Federation. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Poland for the statement. I now give the floor to His Excellency, Mr. Stavros Lambrinidis, Head of Delegation of the European Union to the United Nations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the Presidency for convening this meeting, and thank you to the briefers for their updates. Colleagues, in the 2 months since this Council last convened to address Russia's aggression against Ukraine, the aggressor